The last season had some crazy anime, like Hell's Paradise and the second season of Vinland Saga. However, the biggest surprise was Oshi No Ko, an anime about a K-pop's idol's children that are actually reincarnated fans of hers. While this might sound crazy, this story is actually very good because of its use of contrast. But before we talk about the actual show, I have a question. What does it mean to lie? Some people might think that it's good to lie in some situations, especially when you believe it's better for the person that the lie involves. But this is purely subjective. For people like me, lying is something that you should never do, and personally, you don't have the right to decide what's good for someone on their behalf. You can make excuses, however, a lie is more convenient for the liar. A lie can also create a light that brightens up a person's life. But when that light stops shining, the darkness is just that much darker. If you've seen the show, you probably know why I'm talking about lies, and how they can be seen as both good and bad. This conflict is a core part of the first episode, and the whole show, and is very important, especially in Aqua. This character is the one that changes the most and replaces Ai's role as the liar in his own way. In a juxtaposed form, rather than being a fake light like Ai, his lies are done with his acting, a skill he uses all the time to achieve his goals. We as viewers also see him in a very different perspective, as he's the protagonist of the whole story. This lie of his will probably end up leading to his death, especially with how self-destructive his character is right now, but that's just my speculation. The way that hope and despair keep on contrasting each other in the writing makes the show a lot more interesting. As soon as things start looking like they're going to work out, something terrible will happen. However, the opposite also happens. This makes both extremes appear to be a lot more exciting for the watcher. However, if this is how they keep up the writing for the future seasons, it might become a little bit predictable. But predictable doesn't mean bad. In reality, the excitement is what made me get into the show at first. There were moments where I'd find myself smirking because of the enjoyment I was getting from the story and how it was formatted. There is a reason why the first episode is so long, because it does a very good job of setting up the whole story from that point on. It kind of just hooks you in. How precious is life? How powerful is passion? How fast can love turn into hate? In episode 6, Akame attempts to take her own life because of hate she receives on the internet. While some might gloss over this episode, it's actually a perfect example of great character writing and storytelling. Some might argue to the point where it imitates life almost too perfectly. With both the writing and visual elements, we are shown just how fast something that was shining can turn into a darkness that will devour you. The effect that people have on each other is insane, especially when the opinion changes from love to hate, which is very drastic. The effect of which turns something joyful and passionate into pure anguish. In the end, resulting with Akame just wanting to stop thinking and leading to the end of episode 6. There are many more questions than forms that the story takes to create the imagery of a star turning into a void. Without darkness, there is no light, and without light, there is no darkness. The thing that makes this show so different for me is the balance it has. There is a lot of very real elements to the story, but there are also just as many unreal elements, with them standing on the line perfectly in some situations. At least for me. I personally like when fiction takes very real elements and adds fantastical aspects to them. It's easier for us as humans to relate to reality, but if you make things too real, they'll become boring or hurtful. On the other hand, if you make things too fantastical, it can become hard to understand the direction or intent of the story. This balance is different for each person. Hey, straight up, the show is not perfect, but you should definitely go check it out. And if you want me to make a video about any other show, put it in the comments. Hit that like, subscribe, all that shit. You know how it is. We want a little break, but we're back on the ground, baby. The YouTube channel getting active again. So yeah, make sure to keep up with it. Bish bash bosh. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.